Name your favorite fighter at 140. Teofimo Lopez beats him. The WBO champion put on a masterclass performance against Arnold Barboza. In my opinion, he won at least 10 rounds. The way he was moving and looking comfortable in there was just incredible. I've been saying that Teo has been hitting the peak of his prime, and I really think he could stay there for the next 2 or 3 years. What's weird about Teo is he fights to the level of his competition. What I mean by that is, if we look at his career, he completely outclassed IBF champion Richard Comey and took his belt. He outclassed Lomachenko to become the unified champion. Then he faced a no-name at the time named George Kambosos and suffered a wild upset. Then faced Sandor Martin in a 10-round fight and looked terrible. It was a very controversial decision. He got the win, but then he fights former undisputed champion Josh Taylor and completely outclasses him to take his WBO belt. He has sloppy wins against Jermaine Ortiz and Steve Claggett, and then wins at least 10 rounds last night against the interim WBO champion and undefeated Arnold Barboza. So to just sum that up, the better the opponent, the better performance we're going to see from Teofimo. The no-names, the guys that Teofimo should be stopping, Teofimo plays down to the competition. He's a very skillful fighter, in my opinion the most athletic boxer out there. So put him up against your favorite fighter at 140, no matter who it is. Pick somebody at 140, and pick somebody at 135. A lot of people are saying Tank. First of all, Tank won't fight an A-level fighter to begin with, so you don't gotta worry about that. But name any champion at 140. Name any contender at 140. Teo beats him. Now name like the 50th rank 140-pound fighter, and Teo's probably gonna struggle. But anybody in the top 10, right, any champion, Teo's going to completely outclass him. His timing is just insane. He's just so comfortable in there. I've been seeing, of course, the build-up for this fight, making those videos he was doing, dancing, having fun. Hey, that's awesome, all right? He's definitely a character. Some people hate it. I like he's comfortable. He's energetic. That's what boxing needs, okay? He seems like a good guy, but, you know, he has a good history as well. Former champion, former unified champion, not undisputed at lightweight. Despite what he always says and some of his fans say, he was never undisputed, okay? That wasn't the real WBC belt at the time. A unified champion, still very impressive, completely outclassed Loma. Some people say Loma was robbed. No, Loma was robbed against Haney, but he was not robbed against Teofimo. Teo won that fight. Teo completely outclassed Josh Taylor, bumping up a division, okay? Teofimo took Josh Taylor's belt. Taylor, a former undisputed champion, okay? Now fights Barboza, a good fighter, not on the level as Taylor or Lomachenko, but definitely a good fighter, okay? And completely outclasses him, dancing in there, moving around. The timing's great. He's a very good counterpuncher. His power doesn't really translate. He never really had that type of power, but his timing was just always there. Before we continue, I'm going to give a shout out to my sponsor, that's Hayabusa, some of the best boxing equipment out there. Make sure to use the code, all caps, ALEXD, to get 10% off your order. So what could be the future for Teofimo Lopez? I don't think he's going to stay at 140 long, but in June, we have a big fight coming up at 140 for the belt. That's George Kambosos versus Hitchens. Of course, like I mentioned, Kambosos beat Teofimo, fought him and beat him. One of the biggest surprises, one of the biggest upsets at that time. Now, those rumors that Teo was dealing with heart injuries wasn't the same. Okay, well, if George Kambosos pulls this off and beats Hitchens, which I don't think he will, I think Hitchens is going to win, that'd be a perfect fight for Teo. So regardless, what you could do is at the end of the year, just have Teo fight the winner of Hitchens and Kambosos. I hope Kambosos will win, and if he does, that rematch with Teo is going to be great. But the only way we're going to see that Teo versus Kambosos rematch is if Kambosos wins, right? Why would you give Kambosos a rematch and a shot at the title when he's having a shaky past couple fights anyway, right? Got completely outclassed back-to-back against Haney, got stopped by Loma, had that controversial win over that British fighter, can't think of his name, and then had not that good of a win against an unknown fighter just a couple of weeks ago, okay? So why are you going to give him a title shot against Teo if he loses it once again to Hitchens? I don't really think he should be getting this title shot against Hitchens to begin with, Kambosos, but he is. Now, if he loses, all right, how are you going to give him another title shot for another belt against Teo? He needs to win, needs to beat Hitchens, which, like I said, I don't think he will. But regardless, you can still have Teo fight the winner of that, and then Teo could go for a unification bout. I don't think he's going to go undisputed at 140. I think he could. I just don't think he's going to stay that long at 140. I think he's going to bump up to 147. Him and Boots would be a very good chess match. They're similar, right? Boots is more powerful, right, because he's more natural at 147 than Teo is. But I also don't think how Boots is going to stay there long either. All right, Boots looks like to be struggling weight in his last fight against Danionis. I don't think he's going to stay there much longer, at least for another year. I think I'll be really surprised if Boots stays at 147 for another year. If that fight's going to happen with Teo and Boots, it needs to happen quick. You need to forget the unification at 140 and just go there right now. Okay, so who beats Teo at 140? Nobody. I think Teo could go undisputed. I don't think he will because he just won't stay there long enough. I think he could be unified if they make that match, the winner of Kambosos and Hitchens, and that'll be really good, really good. I think he beats Puello. I think he beats the other guy at 140. I think he beats anybody at 140. 147, I think he could beat a lot of guys there too. I think he could beat Garcia. I think he could beat Haney. But, 147 with Boots, going to be tough. But who knows how long Boots stays there to begin with. Let me know what you guys think of Teofimo Lopez. What an absolutely awesome performance by him, though. Just incredible already. We're going to see more. Like I said, top of the peak right now he's at with his prime. I think we're going to see it for another 2 or 3 years, assuming he's treated right, assuming he's staying active. So let me know what you guys think down below. Make sure to subscribe. Best boxing content on YouTube. I'm out, guys. Peace.